Chairman, and welcome Chairman Selig. Chairman, behind me are two separate betting lines for a baseball game that took place earlier this week. So I'd like to ask you, can you identify which betting line is from a regulated major sports book and which one is from an event contract from a prediction market?
Congressman, I'm not an expert on identifying betting lines, so I'm not certain. Why don't you please enlighten me?
Well, it's clear to me that you can't tell, and that's the problem because the average consumer also can't tell. Here you see that the results for the prediction market and the state-regulated gaming entity and the lines that are put on these sports bets aren't much of a difference, yet they are regulated completely differently. And although the odds are functionally the same, the outcome for the end user is the same. Consumers couldn't care less if they're using an official sports book or engaging with a prediction market. The purpose of engaging in the activity for monetary gain is the same. So here's the problem, Mr. Chairman. Tribes in my district and across the nation have gone through decades-long negotiations, agreements, and settlements with states and the federal government to have the ability to engage in sports betting. States themselves have as well. They've built out legal gaming systems with compacts, licensing, integrity rules, age verification, and consumer protections. So when a federal agency like the CFTC allows prediction markets to bypass these established long-standing legal requirements, but under a different label and uses loopholes to evade regulation and consumer protection standards, it undermines tribal sovereignty and state protection. What this means in practical terms is that tribal communities, like the Pueblo of Laguna in my district, which I just visited, are losing out on vital revenue to pay for their child care, education, infrastructure, and the overall well-being of their community. Not fair, right? Now, I understand the CFTC's role is to oversee derivatives markets. Traditionally, that has meant helping businesses hedge real economic risk. Airlines hedge fuel costs, farmers hedge crop prices. That is very different from putting money on the outcome of a baseball game. On a prediction market, consumers can trade on whether, as an example, Astros second baseman Jose Altuve hits a home run in tonight's game against the Rockies. Does a contract on a single player's performance on a single statistic hedge any real economic risk?
Congressman, there are many risks that could be hedged through various contracts in our markets. The bottom line is that these markets need to be well-functioning and comprehensively regulated by the CFTC. Our statute mandates it, and we'll continue to do it.
Well, Commissioner, with all due respect, I don't think this is hedging. I think this is a bet, as is clearly outlined in the way that these transactions are taking place. And so let me make this clear. The CFTC was not created or intended to regulate sports gambling. States and tribes have systems for licensing, integrity monitoring, responsible gaming, such as age verification and addiction support and enforcement. If this product looks like sports betting, the public should expect sports betting type of protections and regulations. So at the end of the day, this comes down to a simple question. Are we regulating real economic risk, or are we allowing prediction markets to steal billions of dollars in an unregulated free-for-all with no consumer protection as Congress and the CFTC turns a blind eye? The CFTC should focus on ensuring that the integrity of the derivatives and commodities markets, ensuring that farmers and businesses receive fair prices and protections, and preventing our country from facing another financial crisis. That should be the focus. I believe the CFTC does not have the know-how, and it doesn't need to be focused on sports betting because our tribes and our states can't do that. Now, in your earlier comments, in your introduction, you mentioned what you were focused on was modernization, rapid speed, and response to innovation, and that is your focus. Now, what I did see with rapid speed was the withdrawal of the 2024 proposed rule on political and sports contracts. What I would also similarly like to see in terms of that rapid speed and response to innovation and modernization is actual regulation so that we can allow our tribal communities, our tribal nations with their own negotiated contracts not to lose out on vital revenue for their communities as these event contract managers enter states like New Mexico where online gambling is already illegal. This is crucial for our tribes, and I suggest that you talk to the Indian Gaming Association about how they feel about this because they do represent gaming casinos on tribal nations all across the country. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you, Chairman. I yield back.